Hi, my name is Liz Leggett and I'm a Project Manager with the South Yorkshire Primary Care Workforce and Training Hub. The purpose of this project has been to investigate what the creation of a fit-for-purpose, technology-led training and simulation centre would look like for the wider primary care workforce. Looking at research on current training models and pathways to clinical roles in primary care, testing and evaluating existing digital learning tools, where the innovation would sit within the system, how it could generate income, who it would serve and how, potential locations and layouts, and the business model and creating a business plan. Due to the extremely high demand for NHS services, the shortage of GPs and nurses, the desire to dissolve the historic divide between primary and community services, and the need to reduce health inequalities, work has been underway to try and address the challenges faced by primary care. NHS England introduced the Additional Roles Reimbursement Scheme in 2019 with the purpose of improving access to general practice by funding the salaries of 17 new roles within the multidisciplinary team, selected to meet the needs of their local population. The aim was to increase the general practice workforce by 26,000. More recently, there's been the publication of the NHS Long-Term Workforce Plan, which has access, training, retention and reform at its heart. To achieve this, the plan talks of massive increases in numbers of training places and apprenticeships in order to increase the numbers of clinicians. After our own extensive research, studying proven methods and speaking to stakeholders, we began to work with planners to identify what the centre needed to look like in order to deliver our vision. In our search for a potential location, we were drawn to the Olympic Legacy Park in Sheffield because of the ethos of the site. The fact that health, education, research and development all comes together in one place, promoting and supporting innovation and collaboration, which builds right into our own principles, vision and ambition. So we're going to start off in this space. So as you can see, there's lots of desks and chairs. So this is going to be our hot desking space for the team, the Workforce and Training Hub team, to come together, work with our educators and our clinicians. And we'd like to work kind of freely and let ideas and inspiration come within this area. As you can see, it's light, it's airy, we've got lots of big windows letting lots of natural light in. And we'd like to think that it's a comfortable space so we can kind of, engineer good ideas. So as we come out of the hot desking area, what you'll see here is some podular furniture. We like to call this our breakout space. If anyone's got a Teams meeting or a quick call they need to make, they don't necessarily need a private room, just a very quick space to go to that's a little bit more cocooned for sound. It gives you a bit of privacy for your conversation. So these rooms here are purpose-built consultation rooms. And these two in particular are separated by a viewing area that our assessors will actually sit in and watch the activity happening within the rooms. They're set up like normal consultation rooms. They'll have lots of equipment in there that are familiar to our clinicians. And these spaces in particular are where we're partnering with our healthcare scientist colleagues. Hopefully we'll have a bespoke space for them so they can see patients, real patients, but actually provide a great training opportunity for their learners. So continuing down this corridor, we can see there are some more consultation rooms. These are designed to look exactly like the ones you'd find in a GP practice. So as we're welcoming our new additional role staff, for example, we can actually create a training environment that looks exactly like a GP practice. It exposes them to that environment and they can practice having conversations with patients. This is our purpose-built reception area. As we mentioned before in some of the other consultation rooms, we know that patients will be seen within this environment. So this will be the area that they're greeted. Equally, some of our learners that are coming to the centre will be greeted and directed to where they need to be. In order to get the most out of this building, what we'd like to do is offer training sessions outside of normal working hours. For those that are already working, if they want to do CPD, or if they're within placement, they want to come here outside of their clinic time, they can come and do that. What we'd like to do is try and get some digital solutions within this area so they can actually self-check-in, they can let themselves in, but the security is still there. So we want to be able to use this building on this floor to its fullest capacity. In this area, this is our wellbeing lounge where people can come, they can eat lunch, they can take a drink, take a breath, take a rest. As you can see here, it's a pretty large space. It's specifically designed so we can separate it up into 3 separate classroom areas. So 3 separate training sessions can be happening at the same time. When we want to then, we can open up the space so it's large enough to host around 120 people for an event. Here, we'd like to have a large interactive learning aid. This facility will fulfil the ambitions of the NHS Long-Term Workforce Plan. Now let's hear from Louise, our Workforce and Training Hub Programme Director.
The Primary Care Workforce and Training Hub is a team of clinicians and project managers, and between us we coordinate, develop and deliver training across primary care and also deliver lots of different initiatives to support the workforce. The Hub supports the delivery of the workforce strategy in lots of different ways. The key to the strategy is about having a workforce that's fit for purpose, but also enough of that workforce. So we work across bringing people into primary care, training and supporting them at the beginning of their careers, their development, right through to leadership roles further on in their career. And retention is also key to the work that we do. Having a technology-led training and simulation centre will allow us to do more, to do it more efficiently and to upscale all of the things that we're currently delivering. At the moment we're very limited as to what we can offer primary care, but having a space where we can actually bespoke what we're doing for primary care will make a massive difference. So the main problem is that there are not enough doctors and nurses out in primary care. And all of the new roles that have been brought in to bridge that gap, they also require training, supervision and support. There also is not enough supervision capacity out in practice, and there isn't any physical space to take the trainees. So the Innovation Centre addresses both of those problems.
Now let's hear from our Olympic Legacy Park colleagues.
Sheffield Olympic Legacy Park is the home of world-class innovation in sport, health and well-being. The park itself is set on 80 acres in Attercliffe in Sheffield, and some of our occupiers include the English Institute of Sport, ICE Sheffield Advanced Wellbeing Research Centre, along with 2 schools, the UTC and also the Oasis Academy. We are also in the process of bringing forward a new building, a new development for the National Centre of Child Health Technology, and that will be a world first.
This park is an amazing meeting point of industry, investors, institutions like the NHS and all sorts of interesting activities dedicated to improving health, well-being and sport activities and performance. The Primary Care Innovation Centre will be a vital part of the park. Primary care needs a fresh approach based on simulation and new technologies to improve productivity, but also to give the opportunity to patients to manage their own care. This is what our OLP Primary Care Innovation Centre can bring to the site. This park is all about an interplay between innovation and skills, which is exactly what the Primary Care Innovation Centre is about. It's attracting investors and corporates interested in being connected to both the NHS and the innovation pipeline. So we're very, very excited about the Primary Care Innovation Centre.
So what support do we need? Investment, set up and running costs for 2 to 3 years. Freedom to innovate without barriers and red tape. Health Innovation Network support. Innovation Centre management, staff training and development. System support and business guidance. Acceptance and adoption by the ICS. So how do we compare with Europe? In comparison to other nations, England has a very low proportion of doctors relative to the population. England needs nearly 50,000 additional whole-time equivalent doctors, simply to put us on an equivalent standard with today's EU average of 3.7 doctors per 1,000 people. What is the current workforce landscape and what does it need to look like? Let's get the perspective of some of our local clinicians.
My role entails looking after the PA Preceptorship Programme, which is an educational and pastoral support for physician associates that are new to primary care. The way training currently works is it's quite fragmented. I think with the Innovation Centre, it's an opportunity to bring everything together and really deliver a better training offering for all trainees involved. The other great thing potentially about having an innovation centre is to be able to deliver training that's regional and hyper-local. Where I feel that this can benefit is that we're delivering high quality training that is focusing on the needs of our communities. One training aspect that would be fantastic utilising technology would be using virtual reality and AI for interactive communication skills lessons. At the moment, how things work is you've got your technical education where you're classroom based, and then you're expected to go to practice. Where this can really help and bring things together is it can be the intermediate technology where people have a safe space to be able to practice, to be able to mess up, to be able to improve, all without affecting patient care and quality. We need to make sure that we're not falling behind, and there's many other industries that are utilising the use of AI and VR to deliver excellent training. Educational and learning methods have changed vastly in the last 20-30 years, and what we need to do is make sure that our education techniques are meeting the trainees where they want. It's very difficult to be able to meet with my colleagues, to be able to share ideas, because we're quite isolated. What's really important is when we come together and think of really great ideas that we can share across the board.
The modern NHS, as it moves forward, has to really embrace modern digital technology. As a partner in a training practice, we train all clinical staff to a high degree. The fact that we work in a very busy clinical environment means that sometimes we just don't have the ability to train everyone in every aspect of modern healthcare. So the Innovation Centre will provide that expertise to train our new and existing clinicians with the digital products. New joiners and existing clinical staff do not necessarily have the right digital training, and the issue of digital inclusion always has to be thought about when we're progressing digital technology. So the ability to have a centre that can train up everyone to the right standards of digital knowledge for their clinical and non-clinical roles will be needed. The NHS digital strategy depends a lot on a digitally trained workforce, and so innovation centres will be one of those places that could provide that centre of excellence for training of all our staff, whether clinical or non-clinical.
So what are the fiscal implications of implementing the NHS long-term workforce plan? If the plan is successfully implemented, it will mean that 1 in 11 employed people in England will work for the NHS by the year 2037, compared to that of 1 in 17 in 2022. If the targets are achieved, it will only be enough to meet the NHS demand if we see a 1.5 to 2% labour productivity growth per year. But this relies on the ability of the estate, IT and equipment being sufficient to cope with the workforce to be successful. The real cost of implementing the plan is uncertain, as the costs of other supporting elements are as uncertain. However, under a set of assumptions made by NHS England, the plan implies an increase of annual budget by 3.6% per year. That's 70% by the year 2037. In real terms, over the 15-year plan, that's about £50 billion, the same amount that England spends on defence, added to the current NHS budget. To raise this scale of funding, there would have to be an increase in VAT paid from 20% to 27% by the year 2037, or by increasing all income tax rates by 6 percentage points. What is the current picture, and what does it need to look like? Let's get the perspective of some of our local clinicians.
The role of the Primary Care Workforce and Training Hub is to support and develop the workforce in general practice throughout the life course. We look at that starting with people before they've even thought about a career in general practice and supporting them to think about that, through to undergraduate placements, particularly for nurses, but also for professions allied to medicine. My role is to provide the clinical input at a strategic level working alongside Louise Barry, the director. And also my role is particularly to support the GP parts of the programme. But really it's not just about doing more of the same, it's about doing things better, and particularly looking at opportunities created by new technologies, but also using the centre as a hub for remote learning. Additionally to that, there's the opportunity to have new technologies that actually we haven't thought of yet. So we're sort of future-proofing. So rather than designing something completely around technologies, having the opportunity to create a space where new technologies, as they emerge, can be used and tested. We're also looking at more cross-sector working, thinking about the health and social care workforce as a whole, and how we can provide a more integrated and coherent offer, especially around the clinical skills, but also about the wide range of skills that are needed.
So I work in the simulation and immersive technologies team at NHS England, and our role really is to support regions and systems and individual practitioners to deliver technology enhanced education through simulation. That means lots of things, development of simulation strategy, faculty development, toolkits for immersive learning, various other pieces of work that just give people the knowledge, the skills and the support to deliver simulation in their roles. We've got various communities of practice that help to support individuals and teams to deliver simulation-based education and connect them with the relevant technologies to do that. An example of that is the VR360 group that meets regularly, where people can exchange ideas, hear what other areas are doing and the technologies that they're using to do that. Through our XR hubs we distribute technology and kit to regions and to teams that enable them to capture and provide virtual reality and extended reality solutions for simulation-based education. So the Primary Care Workforce and Training Hub in South Yorkshire has a role in supporting the primary care workforce to develop the knowledge, the skills and the confidence to deliver high quality primary care. The Innovation Centre will enable them to do that with greater reach, with access to new technologies and really help to improve the quality of the education training that's being delivered. As a GP working in Doncaster and helping to lead a practice, one of the challenges we have is around workforce. That's having the right people with the right skills and knowledge to deliver care for our patients. In 2023, NHS England set out in the long-term workforce plan how primary care over the next 20 years is going to develop the workforce to help deliver high quality care. The South Yorkshire Primary Care Workforce and Training Hub and the Innovation Centre got a really crucial role in the delivery of that plan, because they're going to provide the technological solutions and the access to high quality education and training to help build capacity and capability in the workforce. Just an example of a couple of things that the Innovation Centre is doing to help nurses who want to work in primary care to develop knowledge, skills and confidence. One of the simulations explores what it's like to be a nurse on duty in a practice, using various scenarios, and to practice that in a safe space where you can make mistakes and things can go wrong without consequence can really build confidence when you're then put into that situation later. We also use 360 VR as an immersive way to enhance induction into primary care. For example, getting to know what a treatment room looks like, what might be in there, so that when you actually go into the practice, it's a bit less of a mystery to you. Placement capacity is a real challenge in general practice at the moment. Due to the increasingly diverse nature of teams, we've got a lot more colleagues working in primary care, and they all need somewhere to work. That puts pressure on space for education and training. Using technology can help to unlock training capacity by providing virtual and remote access to educational opportunities, and this can help to deliver education training to a wide range of people without actually needing as much space in a building. Attracting people to careers in general practice and primary care can be challenging. We've built quite a lot of the 360 immersive experiences that help give you an understanding of a day in the life of various professions and roles working in primary care. This can really help people that are considering that as a career option to understand what the role is like and the benefits and the value of working in that setting.
If you don't have a centre like this, things are going to be very tricky. The truth is, things are pretty tricky at the moment. Capacity, both physical and human, for education, training and supervision is already stretched near to the limit. I'm not sure we're going to be able to deliver what's needed on the ground or as described in the NHS long-term workforce plan.
General practice now has such a wide variety of social link workers, we've got community care coordinators. Where I think the Innovation Centre can really help is to integrate those new roles, integrate new people in primary care by delivering a holistic offering to make sure that they can hit the ground running and really taking pressure off the primary care networks in general practice.
Through innovative designs and models of delivery, we can create value for money and exponentially increase the output of what the hub delivers, giving us a fighting chance of meeting the long-term workforce plan's targets and beyond.
I'm really looking forward to seeing this Innovation Centre take off and for it to be a physical reality. The Innovation Centre will be the beating heart of a resilient primary care workforce because we will proactively respond to the needs and the numbers.